Hi guys, Claudia Bullen here, and this is my first video of 2017, the demon year. I'm not going to get into politics in this video. You know I will in a future video, but not today, because apparently today is. It's Time to Talk Day, which is a day set up by the Mind Mental Health charity as a day to talk about mental health issues and raise awareness. If you watch my channel, you already know I talk about my mental health a lot. Probably too much. I get into some serious detail with it, but I have no shame with it, because I don't believe that there should be any shame involved in talking about an illness, because that is essentially, it's mental illness. That is what it is. It's an illness. It's not attention seeking. It is something that a lot of people suffer with. What did I read? I read that mental health problems affect 1 in 4 people, so that's a lot of people. So I think it's important that we talk about this stuff, because it's very likely it will either happen to you or a family member or someone, and if it's inevitable and going to happen, then surely we want to be knowledgeable so we can help those people that we care about. So talking about mental health issues can be a really big deal. It might seem odd me saying that, because I talk about it a lot, in a lot of detail, but I didn't used to find it very easy. I didn't used to know what on earth was wrong with me. I think I started getting therapy at the age of about 14 or something, and it wasn't actually for the mental health issues. I saw a school counsellor because I was getting bullied at school, and it just so happened that during those counselling sessions there was some sort of realisation with the counsellor that, oh, okay, maybe there's something else going on here, maybe there's some anxiety problems. I'm not here to drag my family, I love my family very much, but I wasn't taken seriously with my mental health issues until fairly recently, I'd say, by my family. Up until that point, I was considered as a drama queen and an attention seeker, and someone who needed to get a grip and just, wanted to cause excitement, and oh, Claudia the drama queen. And then I remember when it started to hit them that, I was actually seeing professionals, and I got the diagnosis, and they realised that actually I'd been suffering with a really bad mental illness for a really long time. And it was sort of oh shit, okay, maybe there's something wrong here. And actually since then, my family have been really supportive to me, which is really nice. But there was a very distinct attitude change, and that came with knowledge, which is part of why I like to talk about this kind of thing, because I don't think that it's necessarily bad people that say these things. I think that people just don't understand it. They don't understand mental health. My family love me and want to help me, but for many years, not just my family, but the attitudes that lots of people have made it very difficult for me, and probably actually made the mental illness worse, because I was trying to hide it because I didn't want that label as an attention seeker. And you know how it is as well with things like self-harm. A lot of people just think, oh, that's just a teenage phase thing, that's a teenage thing they do for attention, and when in reality, a lot of the time it's someone with some serious mental health issues or problems that they don't know how to express. So the best course of action would be to sit that person down and say, look, how can we help? Do you want to talk? Is there someone you want to see? A lot of people are afraid of going into therapy or counselling or whatever, or seeing a doctor. I actually wasn't afraid of it, I'll be honest. I saw it as a relief, because I was aware there was something wrong a lot before the people around me did. I mean, I went through a long period of just thinking I was this faulty human who couldn't deal with things. Why was I crying all the time? Why did I want to kill myself when I was 12 years old? Why did I feel things in this huge way? Why couldn't I cope? And I just thought I was this faulty human, this attention seeker that couldn't deal with anything. And I used to think, genuinely, I'd be dead before I was 18 years old. And it's so amazing to me to be 22, I'll be 23 in April, and to know that I'm still here and dealing with things, because I would never have imagined that. I really felt, as a teenager, an early teenager, that there was no way. I really thought that the only solution was death, and that's so not the case. Talking to someone about this helps so much, because I find that I had therapy on the NHS, so it was CAMS, the Child and Adolescent Mental Health team, I think it was. I was with CAMS for a long time, and I found it really, really helpful, because I've had numerous therapists. There was the time when I was so bad that I couldn't even leave the house. I was just having panic attacks all the time, and they had someone actually come to the house, and we would walk. We would just do a 5-minute walk around the neighbourhood, and I would be panicking and almost crying, and so nervous about doing that, because that's how bad I was at that time. But it really helped me. They actually came to the house, they'd sit and talk with me, and then I sometimes would have therapy where I'd go up to the therapy place, which is fairly close to me, and and sit and have that talk therapy. And for me, I can't tell you how much that helped, just to have that hour in my week where I could just offload and talk about things and know that the person I was talking to wasn't going to say to me, get a grip, stop being boring, stop being an attention seeker, why don't you just do it then? Like, I knew they were going to say, you know, be kind and just say, look, I recognise this is something I deal with a lot of other people I talk to, and you're not on your own. Just that validation is huge, and it was huge for me. It changed my life. I still struggle because of the way that things started out. I still struggle sometimes, which is ridiculous because I have a diagnosis and it's pretty clear that I have these issues. I struggle sometimes with thinking it's not real and then I'm just a lazy, bad person, and that's really bad, I think. That's a societal thing. I think that when you go through years of being told to get a grip and that you're being dramatic and that you're just trying to get attention and that it's an excuse for things, I think you start to internalise that. And that actually was very dangerous for me because it led to me self-harming, because I was thinking, well, I'm the problem, and I wanted to punish myself because I thought I was this like awful human that couldn't cope and was a burden on people. And if only I'd had that validation from people around me saying, no, this is a real thing, it will be okay, you'll learn to deal with it, it doesn't have to be the end. I don't know if I would have got into the cutting, which I struggle with still. I don't do so often now, like it's been a really long time, but it's always going to be there now as a coping mechanism that I started, and it's always something that I got to fight, and that really wasn't necessary, I don't think. I think that's something that comes of people being forced to bottle it up and take it out on themselves, and I really don't think that there'd be so many cases of self-harm if we talked about mental illness more and people understood that it was an illness and not just this attention-seeking thing. I still get told to this day that I'm like a special snowflake, and if I was really ill I wouldn't talk about this stuff, because apparently the first rule of being mentally ill is that you don't talk about being mentally ill, just keep it stum. But yeah, that's just ridiculous to me. That's utterly ridiculous. I remember when I was younger, looking desperately for figures that suffered similar things to me. This is probably before I even realised like the extent of the issues I was having. You know how you relate to fictional characters and you relate to like song lyrics, things like that, like interviews from celebrities where they sort of hint that they have issues with anxiety or something, and you just feel that sense of you're desperate for validation. Someone that really helped me, I didn't make a video about Carrie Fisher when she died. She's very important to me. Not just because she played Princess Leia, who is like iconic to me and probably my favourite Star Wars character, but because she was one of the first people that I found who was open about mental health issues. And when I was younger, just this knowledge that Princess Leia had mental health issues and was still Princess Leia, it was immense to me. I can't even explain it. It was massive. It was so massive, because you hear about, you know, the tortured genius creative soul thing, you know, that weird thing that gets peddled around about artists like Van Gogh and that sort of thing. And there's a sort of harmful idea that mental illness creates greatness and you suffer and you create greatness. There's kind of some truth to the fact that I think that mental illness gets you more in touch with your emotions, but I don't think that you need to suffer in order to create good art, that kind of thing. I think that's quite a harmful idea. But Carrie Fisher, she was successful and she was living her life, and yeah, she would have downs, but also she was fantastic, and to see her like living and just being Carrie Fisher, it meant so much to me. So I thought I would touch on gender a little bit in this video. I'm not talking as an expert here, this is just like my experience, family kind of thing, about how difficult it can be for genders. I'm just going to go for like boys and girls here because I'm a girl, my brother is a boy, and I'm kind of the examples I'm sort of basing this on here. But I feel like it's really hard for boys to talk about mental health issues because there is this toxic idea in society that, you know, real men don't talk about their issues and they battle through and they're the protectors and the providers and they're not supposed to burden anybody. And that's such a dangerous idea, because we're all human beings, regardless of our gender, and we all sometimes need to vent emotionally. Like, I think most of us need that to be healthy, to talk about our emotions. And the fact that we encourage boys, like young boys, we encourage to bottle it up. Like when little boys cry, you know, think about how different it is in school. Like when a little girl cries and everyone's like, oh, hug me, oh, you poor little thing. And then a little boy cries and it's like, stop crying, you little wuss. And, you know, it's dangerous. I hate that. And growing up with a brother, I've seen that. I've seen the way that my brother Dan has been forced to internalise, and when he's feeling bad, he keeps it to him. He's been forced to sort of keep it to himself. But then I don't think it's necessarily easier for girls. I think it's just different, because although girls are sort of allowed to show that emotion, they're also not taken seriously with the emotion, because it's just like typical teenage girl drama queen behaviour. Like if a girl starts self-harming, then it's just typical teenage girl stuff, and you don't want to be that hysterical crazy woman. So it's just toxic to everyone out there at this point. Like, we need to sort out these gender roles. I'm sorry, this is not a video about gender roles, but I feel like it's causing so much unnecessary strain and stress on people's mental health. I also have this weird thing, which I don't understand why this is. Well, I have some theories about why this is. I won't get into it though. About the fact that I can't actually, I'm really, really bad at talking about my innermost thoughts and feelings to my friends and family. I won't do it. I do not go there with my family, do not go there with my friends. I mainly connect to the people I'm close to via humour. So, like, for example, oh, it's got quite bright in here. Like, I'm really close to my brother Dan, who's, like, one of my best friends, but we don't really talk on that, like, emotional level. We bond through humour, and that's great, and that's lovely. I'm not comfortable talking about deep emotional stuff. Don't think he is. I don't think our family generally is comfortable with that kind of thing, and we never have been. And I don't have that outlet with my friends either. I don't feel like I want to do it. I don't want to be a burden. I've been told too many times that it's boring and to get a grip, and that why don't I just blooming do it then if I feel that bad. And it's kind of made me think, oh, I better not talk about it, because I want to be good, Claudia, and I want to be loved, and I don't want people to think badly of me, and, you know, I don't want to be a burden. But the weird thing is that I do think that. But simultaneously, I find it really, really easy to blog about my mental breakdowns online. And I can talk to you right now. Like, maybe it's easy because it's just, I'm alone in my room, I'm talking to a camera, but I will put this online and feel very little shame about it. I can broadcast this to the world, to anyone who wants to hear about it. I don't know why that is. I've just always been that way. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because there's less judgment. I mean, there's still a lot of judgment coming in if you put it out there, but it feels more like authentically me, and I guess the person I am online is closer to the person I feel like inside, because so often in real life, when you're mentally ill, you're not lying, but you have like different faces for different people depending on how much they can take of your mental illness issues. Very few people in life can actually take the real deal of what it is. And if you find those people, keep them around, because they are golden. Okay, I'm going to go now. So it is Time to Talk Day 2017. It might not be when you get this, because I'm going to close caption it, but I am making it on Time to Talk Day. So it is time to talk. Please don't be embarrassed about talking about mental health issues. If you're struggling, then go to your doctor or talk to a friend if you can. Write in a journal, write a blog, do anything. I can't tell you how good it is to get it out of your system. And it was like a process, and at this point in my life, I have no shame about talking about my mental illness. I don't care. Like, if I see someone out now and someone says, how are you? And in the past, you know, what are you doing with your life? In the past, I'd feel really embarrassed, and I'd think, oh, I couldn't go to uni because of my mental health issues. I had a breakdown. Oh no, I feel so ashamed and embarrassed. And now I say, oh, I'm doing okay, thanks. I suffer with an illness, a mental illness, but I'm doing okay, and I'm doing a degree from home. Thanks for asking. How about you? And I just don't have that shame. You can get to that point, my friends. You really can. Okay, I love you loads. I'll see you really soon for another video. Okay, love you. Bye.